Hey everyone, Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us. Today, it's not a local business. So today we are going to focus on the business of educating our kids. And what I mean is undeniably one of the best teachers in our area, and we are blessed. We are in Great Valley School District. But this teacher that I chose today is at St. Pat's. And with me today is Francee Biondi. Welcome, Francee.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us. I think it's really important that people see what our teachers are doing, how they're managing through this crisis and working with our kids. And in some manners, working much harder from home than you would have in the classroom.
Absolutely. I am working harder than I've ever worked. I've been a teacher for close to 15 years, and this is the hardest I've ever worked the last 3 weeks.
Oh my God, I believe it. As one of my kids is at St. Pat's, and then the other two are in high school, so I totally get it. So why don't we talk about you in general and your family? So how are you doing? Where do you live?
So I live right in the borough. I've been in the borough since 1999. And there we are. That was taken just a week ago. One of my teacher friends did one of those front porch projects and drove around.
I love that.
And so that was just 2 weeks ago. So my son Luke is a senior at St. Joe's University.
And how's Francee, real quick, how is he making out? Like, how did they change school, and then what's going on with graduation?
It's tough. He's adjusting fine to online classes. Both of the kids are. But he was on spring break for St. Joe's when kind of everything went down. And so they were already on break, and it was like a don't come back. So not being able to see your friends one last time, that's been tough. Graduation is going to be virtual. And, while we've been kind of expecting it, the announcement came maybe last week, and that was a bit of a blow. And it's the actual ceremony is disappointing to miss, but all those last couple weeks of senior activities and all those things that he's going to miss, it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, he spent 4 years of his life there.
Yep.
And it's a shame that it'll end, virtually. About that. Yeah.
It's tough. Yep. We were hoping they might postpone something, but they made the decision to go virtual, and I'm sure all of these university presidents know a lot more than I do, and are making the best decisions right now.
Okay, and then your daughter Maria.
Yes, Maria, she's a junior at Fordham University up in the Bronx. They shut down pretty quickly, which I was glad to get her home and out of New York City. So she's a junior, and again, adapting well to online classes. The disappointment for her was she was supposed to have an awesome internship at the Philadelphia Zoo this summer, because she's a environmental science major and biology studies minor, and so she was going to kind of combine both of those things with a great internship at the zoo, and obviously that's up in the air.
So what have they told her, Francee? Have they said, hey, we're postponing it, we'll get back to you? Or
they're just like, hold tight. They still are sending out emails asking her, what hours she prefers, should something happen and they open up, but she's in a holding pattern.
Okay, well, hopefully that pans out in the next 30, 45 days.
Yes.
Let me see. So can you still hear me?
I can.
All right, for some reason I cannot see my screen, but that's cool. Okay. So why don't we talk about you, the teacher, Francee, and how are you pivoting today and teaching as opposed to being at St. Pat's? There we go, thank God.
Well, and it's different for every school district and really for every teacher in grade level, but I know at St. Pat's, we left school on a Friday and we were up and teaching Monday. So the biggest pivot, which so many companies and people are dealing with, is learning as you go. So, teachers are planners. We like to have things planned out for, the next trimester or quarter, and to think over that weekend. We're starting Monday, we're figuring it out. You know, I've seen a couple posts that have gone viral on Facebook about teachers, you know, Apollo 13ing their, you know, new curriculum or MacGyvering, and that's the case. You know, I'm sitting at home like, how am I going to teach second graders cursive writing from my dining room? So, you know, we're hooking up document cameras and recording lessons, and, you know, there's my cat who loves to be in the middle of everything. So I'm not dealing with small children at home. So many teachers are. I don't know how they're doing it. I just have a real pesky cat who loves the computer.
Oh my God, I love that cat.
But the learn as you go has been a huge pivot. And then, to borrow from one of my favorite sports teams, the Sixers, the load management, you know, from my end, I'm sending out work, I'm posting lessons, and I don't know what, if that's too much, is it too little, is it just right? So I do kind of send a email out once in a while to parents with just, you know, is it too much, too light, just right? How are we doing? But figuring out that load management was really tough. Obviously, I know what I can do in the classroom in a day, in a week. But figuring that out was huge. And then the last big pivot for me is the collaborating aspect, because I love to sit with teachers at lunch or pop in their classroom and see what they're doing. And it's really hard being so isolated and not knowing what everybody's doing.
So you're teaching second grade right now. Are
Mhm.
parents, and there's a difference between second grade and eighth grade. Eighth graders, you can pretty much go on autopilot as a parent, check on them,
Right.
and make sure they're doing it. Second graders, it's a different animal. It really
Right.
is.
Right.
So how long do you?
Luckily, I use a lot of technology in my classroom on a regular basis. You know, I was laughing because I saw your interview with Kane from Scoops and Smiles, and he kept using that expression, the stars aligned. And I had a moment of that too, where last year at the end of the year, my principal had sent an email out about this technology certification you could get and who might be interested. And I thought, well,
Oh my
I like
God.
technology. Why not? I'll sign up for this. And myself and two other teachers from St. Pat signed up. Turned out to be way more work than we realized, basically a graduate class. But it's with a group called ISTE, the International Society for Technology in Education. So we've been working on that since last June, and I'm so thankful for it because I have tried all kinds of new things with my class this year. So when we had to go online, my kids were very savvy with Google Classroom, with platforms like Flipgrid and Nearpod and all kinds of things that really make my second graders independent. So parents can be supervising, but don't need to be sitting right by their side.
That is awesome. That is
Thank God.
wonderful. I know. Thank God. It's a blessing.
It was.
So how about, oh good, now you popped up again. I couldn't see you for a couple minutes.
Okay.
So how about we go through 3 tips for parents as we're learning as we go for education right now.
So number one is finding that balance, and it's everybody's dealing with this, but you want to be supervising your kids, checking in with them, maybe doing a mid-morning check-in. How are you doing? Have you accomplished a few things on your list? And then, you know, maybe a lunchtime check-in, but probably don't want to be micromanaging and hovering over them every second. There are some benefits that can come out of this, and one is kids developing their organizational skills and some independence, and that could really be nurtured with that proper balance.
Okay, and then tip number 2.
Communicate, for sure. When I'm sitting at home at my dining room table, I have no idea what's going on in your household at home. Now, again, I work with second graders, so I hate to tell you, but normally when the kids come in the classroom door, I hear everything. I know how their morning was. I know how last night was. I know who is cranky, who's having a bad day, who's having a great day. But from my dining room, I have no idea what's going on. So that's really hard. So don't be afraid to communicate. Don't be afraid to reach out to your teacher to say, we're struggling with the workload, or could you post some extra assignments for kids who want extra, or this week my kid hit the wall. This week my kiddo just everything, set in, and they're struggling. So don't be afraid to communicate with your teacher.
I'm so glad you said that, because
Mhm.
for my personality and maybe some other people, they may be afraid that they're bothering you,
Right,
that everybody else is asking you questions as
right.
well. So I'm really happy that you said
You
that.
know what? Don't be afraid to shoot an email. I don't think it can hurt. I mean, these are historic times, and we really have no idea how things are going on the other end.
Yep. Okay, perfect. And then how about
Mhm.
your last tip, tip number 3?
Engage. So, as I say here at the bottom, we now know, after last week's announcement, last week was a tough week, that we're not going back. And so we now know it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you want to keep your kids engaged. I wouldn't focus so much on grades. And this may be different for some, like a 7th grader or maybe a junior in high school. There are a couple of grade levels that this maybe is an exception for, but for the most part, I really don't think anybody in a position of acceptance or admissions person is going to be looking at the grades from 3rd trimester of 2020. I mean, we all know it's unprecedented time. So I wouldn't worry as much about grades as keeping your kids engaged. Are they a curious learner? Do they want to learn new things? This is a chance to really engage that curiosity and develop learners.
Awesome. I love those 3 tips. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
That certainly helps parents like myself, because sometimes I let them go and I don't check in on them. So I will make a point of doing that in the mornings.
I think a little spot check, almost like, you don't want to call it a pop quiz, but just how are we doing on the list? And kids have to learn what works for them. Checklists, timers, having someone hold you accountable. Maybe some kids need their parent checking in on them, some don't.
All 3 of mine do. I'm
Yeah.
just guessing. All right, so now let's talk about what you like to do outside of teaching. I know that you are a huge Phillies fan, and
Yes.
I can't see the Facebook page right now, so I don't know
Okay.
if you're going to pull it up.
Yeah.
But why don't you talk to us about the activities, what you're interested in? What you
I
do?
love Philly sports. I have to confess, I'm not a real big Flyers fan, but the Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers, people ask what I watch on TV during normal times, and it's pretty much sports every night. If there's a game on, I'm watching it. I've been a season ticket holder for the Phillies since 2007. I have the Sunday game package, so any Sunday home game, I'm at the ballpark, and really missing it right now. Really missing it. I've been watching old games that they show on NBC Sports Philly. Last night we watched Allen Iverson and the Step Over. They had the classic Lakers Sixers game 1 on. We watched that, and then after that was a Bryce Harper game. I watched that. There's my football. So every Eagles game day,
I love
Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever it is, the Eagles balloon goes up. So I've been doing that for over 10 years.
that. Everyone knows where you live now, Francee.
Everybody knows. Everybody says, "Oh, you're the house with the Eagles football." Yep. Yep.
I love it. And then how about the concerts? You go to more concerts, Chicky, than I have ever been to in my life in one summer.
I do love live music of all kinds. Country, rock. I go to small bands down at 118 North. That's Zach Brown. We see him every summer. We love Zach Brown.
Yeah.
My daughter, of course, is going to school in New York City, so we go up and see shows. We've seen Hamilton and Waitress and Beautiful. This is a Dierks Bentley. There's Dierks Bentley right there in the back. He does a little pre-show on the Battleship New Jersey. So we always do that. Fun.
Awesome. And let me ask you a couple questions. So what are you binge watching, if anything, besides the sports? Do you do anything?
Well,
Netflix,
I'm
Hulu?
struggling without the sports. We are struggling here big time. So I'm getting caught up. I'm late to the party, but I'm getting caught up on Parks and Rec. And I love Leslie Knope. Love it.
I feel like in Malvern Borough, we have a couple people like listening.
No, it's so great. It applies to everybody. I love it. Yeah.
And have you tried anything during this time that you normally wouldn't have, or like you say, I wish I had time to do X and Y. What have you been doing?
Well, we are, I'm an animal lover here, and my animals come into school, so my class can earn a day with the animals as a reward. So we are fostering a new animal here that we picked up last week, a new baby bunny.
First of all, tell everybody the name of the bunny.
Well, our bunny that we've had, who's now 11, I have an 11-year-old bunny, and his name is Carl. And that's when we were rescuing him, it was for Maria's, I'm going to say 13th birthday. She talked me into this rabbit. And we rescued him, and everybody was giving her suggestions of names like Thumper and, Cottontail and all these bunny names. And she said, I want to come up with the most unbunny name I can, and that is Carl.
She did it. She nailed it.
Yes.
I flipping love that. And I think he's litter trained. Isn't he kitty litter trained?
He is litter trained. Yes. So he can hop around. There he is. Maria's holding him. Yep. He can hop around the house. The animals all are very cohesive. They all get along, and he uses a litter box.
That's so cool. And
so he can come into the game. Yes. When I bring him into the classroom, he just hops all around the classroom. Yep.
And who's your new foster bunny?
So the new bunny, I didn't send you a picture, I should have, but her name, she's just 2 months old. Her name, she came with the name Basil. There were 3 of them, and they have, I think one was turmeric, basil, and sage. And she's all black. She has a couple little white markings on it. And when we rescued Carl, he was 4 years old, so he was already basically an adult. Mm-hmm. She is 2 months old, and she is into everything. Everything. So we have our hands full.
So I guess you have a designated room for her. So
we have one room that's like a mud room that we have different zones for the 2 rabbits.
That's awesome. Do they get along, or is it still new?
We're supposed to keep them separate right now. Sometimes what can happen with rabbits or other animals too is they can bond, and if they bond, then you have to keep them together. And since we're just fostering her at this point, we're not letting them close to each other, but she gets very active at about 12:30 at night or in the morning, and I heard a big crash, and she had jumped over the divider, and we had to restructure our whole bunny living area last night at about 12:30 in the morning. So.
Awesome. And the last thing that I did want to talk about is I love you have an annual party. It's an Oscar theme. And mm-hmm. I look forward to it every year. It's mm-hmm. nice because it's like one of those moments in life that it's just fun and it's light, and you do an awesome job. And you have a contest every year, don't you? So you have a theme?
Yes. Yeah, we have a couple contests. So I've been having this probably for 10 years. It's for the ladies in the neighborhood, and you can come for red carpet, you can come for the awards, come stop in for a little bit, come for the whole night. But I have a theme every year, and if you want to dress up for the theme, that's very fun. And, it's a Sunday night, and I give all these women credit who come on a Sunday night when other people want to be in their pajamas, and we have Amory Machette dressed head to toe as Lady Gaga on the red carpet.
Now, I want to talk about Amory. Amory, if you're watching, I would like to say
yes.
that I object to this year's award winner, Amory Machette, for Lady Gaga.
We have a protest.
I will lodge an official objection. Now, in the past, she has been nothing short of genius, meaning one year she did Carol Burnett,
yep.
Gone with the Wind.
Yes.
Literally with
the curtain rod
and drapes. That was the funniest thing. I screamed laughing when I saw that. Well deserved, Amory. This year, the Lady Gaga thing, it looked like, I don't know, but I object. And I think there were other people at that party, not myself. I was Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes, I think our theme this year was come as a character from a movie from 2000 to 2010, I think.
It was awesome. We had 3 Junos.
Junos, yep.
We had someone from Casino Royale.
Yes.
Really, really.
We had a mean girl with her burn book.
Oh my God. Wait, I forget
Gloria
about that.
Stirred. Yep.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So
Hilarious.
have you chosen a theme for this year?
I have not. I'm open to suggestions. We've
I
done
don't
Disney
have it.
characters, Star Wars characters. We've done different decades. We've done heroines and villains. It's so fun. So we have a
Star Wars.
trophy every year for best costume and one for whoever wins the ballot, has the most correct on the ballot.
I am laughing just thinking of this because Anne-Marie has the best imagination. For Star Wars, tell everybody what she dressed up as.
You was C-3PO. C-3PO was hilarious. I think she had pipe cleaners, all kinds of things on her for wires. It was amazing.
I loved it. I love
Yes.
that. And I love that you love life. You have fun. You go to these concerts and you're a great Philly supporter, fan. You're a tremendous teacher.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't know because I can't see the screen now, but you had organized an event at St. Pat's that was for Locks for Love and leukemia and lymphoma.
Mm-hmm.
And
So one of my students, she's in 4th grade now, but I taught her in 2nd grade. And last year she was diagnosed with leukemia. And so I knew I wanted to do something to support her. And I just thought we needed another event at St. Pat's. So we initiated a Danceathon, and all of the funds went to support the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And we raised $10,000 last year.
that's amazing.
And then we did it again this year. We moved it from the end of the school year, we moved it to Catholic Schools Week, which was so fun. And then I wanted to kick it up a notch. So I challenged the kids and said, would anybody be willing to donate 10 inches of their hair? I thought I might get a few kids, and we had 20. There's everybody lined up. We had 2 boys who got special permission from Ms. O'Donnell. One is a 4th grader and one was his brother who's at Malvern Prep. And then we had a couple of teachers, we had alumni, and we had students, and it was the best day. So great.
It's awesome. I saw a stat. All in all, you had raised $20,000 in 8 months or something like that.
Close to, yep, close to, and that's our St. Pat's community. Yep.
That's incredible. I just want to thank you for being one of the teachers at St. Pat's, and great neighbor, great friend. And thank you so much for the 3 tips for parents
Absolutely.
to help them during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a
Stacie,
great day.
thank you for everything you do for our local businesses. I've watched all of your interviews. They're so great. You do an amazing job. So thank you for supporting our Malvern Borough.
I love our community and living here and seeing people walk up and down our streets. Now I'm on First Avenue, you're in Monument.
Yep.
How awesome is it that we're now seeing people that we've never seen before.
I know.
And
Monument Park is busy. Everybody's staying there 6 feet apart, but it's busy. People are taking advantage of these great places in our town.
I love it. And it's maybe it's a break that we all need. And I think we've gotten closer. I know I have with my family, and it's been a blessing. It's tough, but overall, I think we're doing a heck of a job.
I have no other choice.
Right. That's a good point. So, all right. Well, listen, have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.